Welcome back everyone. So in today's video I will be showing you how to set up DBT Cloud connections with Redshift data warehouse. Alright, and once we have our connections set up, I will also show you how you can use DBT Cloud to transform data that is in your Redshift data warehouse. Alright, so we'll be going through the entire setup process. So basically I'll show you how to set up your DBT Cloud environment, how to set up your Redshift environment, and we'll go ahead and integrate the DBT Cloud with GitHub for version control. And then from there, we will go ahead and use data that is in Redshift and transform it with DBT Cloud. All right, so this is going to be a comprehensive tutorial. So let's get to it. All right, so in this diagram here, as you can see, these are the services we'll be using. We will be touching DBT Cloud, we will be touching Redshift, and also GitHub. Okay. So as a prerequisite, let's go ahead and set some of these things before we go into the actual demo itself of doing the transformations, right? So the first thing that I would like to start with is Redshift data warehouse. Okay, so we'll set up Redshift, load our data there, and then we'll go ahead and set up our GitHub account. And then now from there, we will go to DBT Cloud because that's where we will be doing most of the work. So we want to set everything else that is dependent. And then once we get into our modeling, then we don't need to get out of our DBT Cloud environment. All right. So I'm going to go over to AWS. All right. So this is my AWS console here. And if you do not have an account with AWS, just go ahead and sign up. I think they give you some free credit for 1 year. And then just log in, create your account, log in, and this is the dashboard right here. And so what I would like to do from here is to go over to Redshift. Okay, so I do have Redshift here, but you can also search Redshift in the search here. And basically, so Redshift is a data warehouse that is provided by AWS. So just go ahead and open this. So I'm going to open this one in a new tab right here. And so this is my Redshift dashboard, and currently I am using serverless Redshift, right? So I have done videos previously on how to create and provision your Redshift serverless environment. So I'm not going to go through that in this video, but I will put the link in the description in case you want to follow the steps on setting Redshift, okay? So basically you do need a namespace and then your work group. Okay, so this is my work group currently, and this is where my Redshift data warehouse is living. Okay, so I'm just going to click into this, and as you can see, this is the connection details, right? So you do have the endpoint here for your Redshift. So this is basically like the host name for your Redshift environment, and if you're using or trying to connect with JDBC, you have all of that information here. Okay, so you can see we have JDBC and ODBC as well. Okay, so so right here, there's one thing that will come later to fix, and that is on VPC security group. But let's go ahead and log into the data warehouse itself and then load some data. Okay, so to do that, Redshift provides you with a online query editor. So if you click right here, you can see this query editor version 2. Just click that, and this is going to open the query editor where you can now run your queries, right? So this is basically opening my sandbox workspace, and this is basically your server. And what you want to do here is just expand this. So I am already logged in. The first time that you see this, there will be a window that is going to pop up asking you to log in. So basically for that, enter the name for the just enter the username that you used when you were provisioning the database. So during the provisioning, you will need to create a password, a username and a password, and when logging in here, that's the information you want to put, right? So I've already done that, and then now I'm logged into my serverless environment. Again, I did the video, so follow that video and it will show you how to do it, right? Okay, so this is these are the databases now that are in my serverless environment here. We do have 2 of them here. So the native databases, these are basically databases that you've created, and Redshift is holding the data for you. And then for external one, I believe this is where the data is living outside. So you can see this one is in catalog. So this will be Glue catalog, and you can query them here. So this is just for information purposes. So what I would like to do now, so I do have some databases here that I've created before. Dev database is the one that we will be using to write our completed or transformed data to, right? And so in order to create our table, I'm going to create additional database here for staging, and that will basically hold our raw data, right? So I'm going to go ahead here and basically just create a database, and we will call it staging. And we will be using this to load our raw data, right? And then DBT will pick the data from the raw layer and then go ahead and transform it. And I'm thinking maybe we can use one of these, or maybe we can use reports, because once you transform it, that will be your final data, right? So we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to execute this, and this one is going to, you can see this one is going to create a database here. And now if you refresh it, right, if you refresh it, then there we go. So you can see now that it is created, it has created the staging database here, okay? And the schema by default is public. So we will use this public schema for now, but if you want, you can create additional schema under this staging database. So now let's go ahead and load some data to this. Okay, so for that, I will we will leverage ChatGPT. So we'll just go ahead to ChatGPT here. And if you're not familiar, ChatGPT is an AI tool that you can use to help you with your development quick and easier, right? So we'll go here to ChatGPT, and we'll just put a prompt here, we'll create a sales table, create for me sales table with 20 rows, Redshift data warehouse. So let's see. So hopefully this is going to create for us a DDL and then include the rows as well. Very good. Okay, so ChatGPT is very smart. You can just you know, my script probably is not very comprehensive, but you want to make it sure that you tell it exactly what you want as the output. But as you can see here, it understood, so went ahead and created for us a table here, and then the rows as well. So all we have to do here is basically copy this and then go over to Redshift, and we want to I will open a new editor here, and we will just go over to the staging database that we created, and then we'll create a table in there, right? So we'll create a sales table here, sales ID, sales date, customer, all of this, right? Just go ahead and run this. So this has created the table now, and then let's go ahead and insert these records, right? So we will go ahead and basically copy this, bring it back here, and just paste it here. And now we just need to select this. So this is basically basic insert. So it's inserting into that table. I will highlight this and then just run it. Okay, so this is going to insert all of these records into the table, and as you can see, we have inserted 20 rows now into this table, and we can query this table. So if we do that, let's select from sales, right? That is the table we just created and loaded the data to, right? And this is under staging right here. So we will see if we have our data. There we go. So you can see now we have our 20 rows, and it has the information that we need. Okay, so that is under staging here. If you expand this now, you can see that we should have the table. There we go, and it includes the sales, the field names and everything, right? Very good. Now there's various ways that you can load data to Redshift, and I've covered a few ways. You can bring data from S3. You can ingest data directly from other data warehouses and bring it over to Redshift. But in this case, we're just basically inserting, because it's a data warehouse, you can just insert data directly. So whichever way that you get your data to Redshift, it doesn't matter, but the idea is you want to have your data in Redshift, and then from there DBT can do the transformations for you, because again, DBT is a transformation tool, and so what it requires is for you to already have the data in your data warehouse, and then it's going to do the transformations for you. So basically, DBT will transform your data using basic select statements, and then basically fashion it and make your work kind of work like a software engineer. So anyway, so we do have our table here now with the data, and I think we are good with this part of Redshift. And then now the next thing that we want to do before we transition over to the other parts is we want to set our security, right? So for DBT Cloud to talk with Redshift, we do need to modify our VPC security group. So there are two things that you do need to make sure that they are working properly. One of them is you want to make your Redshift publicly accessible. So if you scroll down here to data access within your workgroup, you can see that this is the information that we have here, right? So for me, I have enabled VPC. I have turned on public accessibility for this. And also I have this VPC, enhanced VPC routing off, but you can also enable this as well. If this one is turned off for you, what you can do is just edit here and then come right here and then just if it was off, it will be not checked. This box will not be checked, right? So what you can do is just check this box, and then that is going to work for you. All right, so just make sure that this is publicly accessible. Okay, and then the other thing that we will need to do here is modify the security group. So you can see, if you see the security group here, this is a security group that basically governs the firewalls that allows traffic into your Redshift environment, right? So we are going to navigate into this security group. So we are going to just click this, and this should take us to EC2 where we have our security group. So what I would like to do here is click into this security group ID, and currently these are the traffic or inbound rules that I have on this one. So we want to modify this, and we want to allow specific IP addresses from DBT Cloud. So those IP addresses are actually listed in this documentation here for DBT, and I'm going to also put this one in the description. I'll put the link here so that you can get them. And what we want to do is we want to copy these IP addresses, these first IP addresses, and include them in our inbound rules, right, for the security group that Redshift uses. So this will make sure that when we create our connections from DBT Cloud, then the communications will be allowed to Redshift, right? So what I will do is I'll just copy this. I will copy this first IP address here, and then we'll go to the inbound rule here, and then all we have to do is modify this. We want to add this rule here, and we will make this one all ICMP IP4 address, right? This will be custom, and we will just paste the IP address there. This will be /32, okay? And then we will go ahead. Actually, sorry, no, we don't. This will be not IP4. Let's modify this. Instead of, let me just actually do that again. That was right here. Okay. It has to be Redshift because we are trying to bring the traffic to Redshift. So the rule here will be a rule for Redshift. Okay, so that will be Redshift here. And then the port will be 5439, and we want to allow to whitelist basically this IP address right here. Okay, so this is a traffic from DBT Cloud to Redshift. So we will open that, okay, and then we will also add the second one here. All right, so the second one here, and we will also put the same thing here. It has to be Redshift, okay, and we will whitelist this IP address also, and then the third one will be this one for 231 right here. Okay, so we'll go here and then basically do the same thing. We want to add Redshift here, and we want to accept traffic from this place here. We want to make this one 32 as well. There we go. Okay, so we have 231, 249, and 63, right? So these are the ones here, 1, 2, 3. I didn't test these ones, but these ones worked for me. These first 3 worked for me when I tested before. So we'll just go ahead. Once you do that, go ahead and save the rules. Okay, and that's pretty much it now. Okay, so those are the only things that we need to do on our AWS side of things. Okay, so we have our table in Redshift. All right, so we have our table here in staging, and we have enhanced our, or we have modified our security group to allow traffic from DBT Cloud. Again, these are the regions again. So I'm in North America, right? So for your case, if you are in a different location, then you might have to check some of these other ones. Maybe for not, so what are these other ones? North America. So I think if you are in EU, you can trust it. You can try these ones here. What else do we have here? ABC. You can try these ones. Okay. But again, I'm in US East, so these are the ones that I used. So just make sure if you're watching this from another location, you can try them. You can try these IP addresses out. Okay. Very good. All right. So now we have finished with Redshift setup, right? The Redshift piece of it. So let's now go over to GitHub, right? We want to use GitHub to host, or basically to store our models so that we can fashion them and track them, right? For any changes, because that's how DBT will work, right? So we want to fashion our models and everything. So I'll go over to GitHub right here. And I will create a new repo. So if you don't have a GitHub account, just set it up and create one. It should not take long. And I'm going to create a repo here, and we'll call this one DBT Cloud Redshift, right? Redshift. And I will say this repo calls DBT Cloud models for Redshift data warehouse. Okay, we'll make it public, and then I will add the readme for this. We'll go ahead and hit create. Okay, so this will create for us the repo here, and we have our readme here. So what we need to do now is we are complete here with our repo. This is the only thing we need to do in terms of GitHub setup. And so now the last thing that we need to do is go over to DBT Cloud. All right, and then we'll do everything here and set up and run our models. All right, very good. So to do that, go to getdbt.com, and in order to log into DBT Cloud, you can go right here and click here where it says try DBT Cloud. So again, we do have 2 versions of DBT, right? As a transformation tool, DBT, the company, provides us, or DBT Labs, the company, provides us with 2 versions, or basically 2 versions of DBT, right? We have one DBT Cloud, and this one is managed DBT, right? So this one is Cloud Managed DBT, and the other one is DBT Core, which is open source. Now I've been doing a number of videos on the DBT Core, and if you, I'll put the playlist in the channel if you're interested on the DBT Core one. But with DBT Cloud, this is the managed version of DBT, and the DBT Labs will manage it for you, and then basically you can provision it and then run it. So what you want to do is sign up here. You do get 14 days trial for the full-fledged version for this. So just enter your information here, your name, your email, your company information, password, and everything, right? I've already done that this one, so I'm not going to go through this process, but it should be pretty straightforward. Just enter your information here. You'll get an email, confirm that email, and then from there you should be able to log in, right? You'll get 14 days to get the full version of DBT Cloud. After 14 days, your trial will expire, and if you want to upgrade to one of the premium tiers, then you can do that. DBT also allows you, gives you 1 free developer seat, right? And that's what I'm using currently after the 14 days are done. So just go ahead and log in. Again, I've already logged in, and this is my dashboard here now. Now remember, this one is dark mode here, and if you come down here, you can switch between them. So you do have dark, light mode, all of this. I like the dark mode. So this is your dashboard right here, and so what you can do now, once you are logged in, let me show you a few things here before we jump into the setup. If I go to my student account here, right, inside my account settings here, this is my account. We have projects and everything. What I want to show you is under billing, right? So under billing, you can see my current plan is developer, and if you go to the plans here, you will see that we have developer as the free, and this is forever. Now the limitation is this is only available for one person. So if you want to run DBT Cloud and you just see how the environment looks like, then the free developer seat here should be pretty sufficient, right? Now if you want to use this for your team, then what you like to do is check if the team one is available for you. You can see here, this one will give you, I don't know if it mentions here the number of seats, but this one will give you, oh yeah, up to 8 developers, right? So this one gives you up to 8 folks in your team to use, and this is the price here, $100 a month. Or you can go with the enterprise version, and I don't think this one has any limit to the number of people that can use. So depending with which one you want to go with, these are the options available for you once your free trial is done. Now again, this developer one is the one I'm using, and so just do that if you want to use the cloud version of DBT, right? You only get one user, and the projects and everything, you only get one. You only get to create one project per seat, right? Okay, so that's our user now. So the next thing that I would like us to do here, in order to set up our DBT Cloud environment to communicate with Redshift, is we will go first with integrating with our GitHub, right? Because this is going to be useful for the next step. So I will go down here and then I will click my profile, and you will see here it says GitHub. Okay, so we have GitHub here. We just want to link this to our GitHub repo that we created, right? So I will click link here, and you can see this one has linked. You want to expand this, it's linked to our GitHub. Go ahead and configure integration in GitHub. So if you click that, it will take you over to GitHub account, and we just want to click here configure. And if you go down here now, in the repo access, we have 2 options here. You can allow DBT Cloud to access all of your repos, or only select repositories. This is what we'll go. We'll just give access to specific repos, because there's no point of giving access to everything. But if that's something you need or you like, then you can do that. So I'll select this, and we just want to give the repo that we created for Redshift. So that will be this one here, DBT Cloud Redshift, right? So I'll select that. Now you can see here, I do have also DBT Cloud Snowflake. I previously did a video on Snowflake, so that is why I do have this one here, but it's not necessary. You can just only limit to the Redshift one. Okay, go ahead and save it. And now we have given DBT Cloud access to this repo, and therefore when we go back to our DBT account here, you can see now that we are linked into our GitHub, right? So when we do our developments, you know, this GitHub will be tracking automatically in the UI here our changes, and then we can go ahead and push it into the repo, and that is going to store our models, right? Very good. Now we have completed our GitHub integration here. So the next thing that we would like to do here is to create connections now to Redshift. Now for that to happen, what I would like to do is, if you go to projects here, we do need to create a project, and I'm going to delete this, right? I'm going to delete this project here. So this is the equivalent of setting up your profiles and doing your init. So if you watch the videos I've previously done, this is basically, you want to initialize your project, connect it to the environment, and then from there do the DBT debug and everything, right? So this is what we're doing. So the first thing I would like to do here is to create a connection, because the project will be depending on the connection. So you can do whichever way. You can go through the project, or you can go through the connections. it doesn't matter. All right, so what I'm talking about that one is when you create a project, it will ask you for a connection, and then there will be an option there to create a connection, and then you can go ahead and do that. But I'll do it right here. So I'll go to connections, create connections, and now you can see that we do have a number of data warehouses and databases that we can connect to. So you can see we have Snowflake, Postgres, BigQuery, Redshift, Synapse, all of this, right? Now the one we want to connect to is Redshift. So I will click Redshift here, right? And then for the name, you can, for the connection name, you can change it if you like, and then I will leave it as Redshift. You can also enable SSH tunneling for secure access if that's something that you have in your environment. I'm not going to do that. And then now right here on the settings, we want to put the server name, and by default the port name is this one. Now for the server name, we just want to get our endpoint from Redshift. So if we go back to our workgroup right here, all we want to do is basically copy this, and you can see this one has the port number and the database as well. You can just basically copy this like this. We only need it up to this point, so we'll copy this and then just basically trim it on the other side. So we'll go ahead and do it right here. We'll paste it here, and we will just get rid of the port and the database, right? Okay, so this is our server name, and this is a port number. Expand this, and you do need to put the database, right? In that case, the database is dev. Okay, so that's the database that is specified in our endpoint. And then from there, scroll up here and just go ahead and save this. Okay, so our connection now has been saved, but you'll be asking yourself, okay, how do we enter the rest of the information, like the username and the password and everything, right? So for that, we will go back now to the project here, and then we do need to create a project. I will leave this project named as analytics, but you can change this if you like. I will click continue here, and then for connection now, this is what I was telling you, right? You can add new connection, and it will just take you through the same process that we were doing. But since we already created, I will just then select Redshift for this. And then now, there we go. So you can see now, once you do that, the rest of the information pops up. So it's going to ask you now how you want to authenticate into your Redshift. For our case, we will use password and username for this. And so we just want to enter the username for this. So for my username for Redshift, it's admin, and I will enter the password, right? Now remember, this is the password that has login access to Redshift. For my case, this is the same username that I set up when I was creating the Redshift environment, but you can also create a user within Redshift after you provision it, and then give it a password and everything, right? So just do that, and then for the schema, so this by default uses your username, and the reason for this is for isolation, right? Because if you are working as a team and you have one or two folks that are doing just development work, then it's good to have the schemas isolated to each of the team members, so that you don't somebody does not overwrite or do something bad to one of the other repos that some of the other folks are doing. But that is not really necessary. You can, all of your team members can basically use the same schema as long as nobody overwrites or does any destructive work. But basically, at the end of the day, this is the schema that DBT will be building our transformed models to. Okay, so basically, once we write our models and then we run DBT run or a DBT snapshot, this is going to be the destination of where the records or the models will be built. Okay, so this one does not exist in Redshift, so you can see I'm currently putting as DBT Kalicam right here. If we go to Redshift environment, we do not have a database or a schema with that name. Okay, so let me expand this. Okay, so I don't know why it's hanging. Let me refresh this again. The dashboard usually does this, but yeah, so if you see here, we do not have a database with this name or a schema with this name because I believe we specified our our database, right, as dev. So I believe once we run this, we only have one public schema here. I think because this is a schema, it is going to be created under dev, right? So we'll see. But DBT is going to create it for you and then run your data and load your data too. So I think it should be created under dev because that's our database. So the schema will be created here by DBT and then it's going to load the models, the build models in that schema. Okay, so let's go back here now. All right, so that's what it is for this one. For the target here, you can leave it as default, but you can also just put it as dev or a prod or a UAT if that is something that you like. So basically this is going to be used by DBT. If you're running commands, you can also specify the target for this. So I'll put this one as dev because this is just for development work, but you can use it as default. It really doesn't matter if that's not something you're interested in. I will reduce the threads to 3, and then from there we need to go ahead and test the connection. So I will hit here test the connection, and then we will see now. So this is going to go to our endpoint. It's going to try to connect to Redshift, and if all is good, then we should be able to connect, and if something happens here, then we will see. Okay, so this might take a few seconds. We will let it run, and if something happens, we will see what the issue is, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so looks like this timed out. So let's go and find out what else might have happened. Okay, so looks like there's still some connection timeout here, and I believe it's something to do with the security groups. So we'll go ahead and see if we can modify the security groups and see if these connections can work for now. Okay, so I think I figured the issue. So turns out that some of these IP addresses are actually may not be up to date, which was interesting because I did try it yesterday and they ran fine. But so the issue is if you go actually up here, so right, so if that happens to you, the actual thing that we need to do is if you go to connections here, you can open this in a new tab, and we actually missed this step here. So you can see in the settings right here, it actually states explicitly right here, DBT Cloud will always access your connection from these IP addresses. Okay, so make sure to allow inbound traffic from these IPs in your firewall, right? So these are actually the IP addresses that matter to us. So if this doesn't work for you, if this doesn't work for you because it looks like they may not be up to date, what you can do is just leverage these ones directly, right? So just copy this and put them in your firewall. So what I did was I went ahead and modified the security group. So you can see now that the traffic will still be Redshift, and now we just want to put those IP addresses. So you can see the first one here we have is 232, which is this one here, 232, and then the other one is 130, right? So 130 is this one here, and the CIDR will be 32/32, and then the last one there that we added was this one for 135, right? So just go back there, 135. Okay, so all of this will be Redshift TCP, and that is going to be your the inbounds sources. So I believe from the list that we had before here, this one I think is out of date, 63, 249, 231. Again, I tried this before and they worked, but it didn't seem like it's working now. So maybe this is something that's dynamic, but yeah, so use the IP addresses if you see them listed on your settings here. So just leave these ones, go to your security group, modify it. Basically just go ahead and add a rule here, make it a rule of Redshift, and then paste the IP address right here, and then just go ahead and save it. So just add all of those 3 IP addresses, and then after you do that, when you scroll to the bottom here now, just go ahead and test your connections. Of course, you do need to put your username, make sure it's a valid username, and the password. And again, this is a schema where DBT will build our models too. All right. Okay, so we test the connection here. The connection is good. Then from there, go ahead and save it. Okay, so once you click save, the next thing that we need to do now is to configure our repo. All right, so for that, we already set up our integration with GitHub. So all we have to do right now is just click here where it says GitHub, and then from the list here, you will see the list of the repos that DBT Cloud has access to. So for this one, we will be using the Cloud Redshift repo. So I'm going to pick this one here. And there we go. So that means now that we have successfully integrated our environment with GitHub, and we have successfully connected also to Redshift. So from there now we can start our development. Okay. Now with DBT Cloud, the neat thing is it's not going to ask you to install additional tools for development like VS Studio Code and everything. You can do everything within the cloud environment itself. So you can see we have a IDE here, right here. So from here, just go ahead and click this, start development in the IDE. So you do that, it's going to open for you a cloud IDE, and yeah, so this is loading, and then from there, I think we're ready to roll and do our development and transformations, right? Okay, so it's going to connect with our repo. And now to start our process, all you have to do is click here where it says Initialize DBT project. So just go ahead and do that. So once you click that, there we go. Then now your structure is ready. Okay, so you can see the DBT structure now is created for you, including analysis, macros, models, seeds, snapshots, and all of that. So this is very similar with what we have in a DBT core. So in our DBT core, this is just an example of DBT core. For example, maybe let's take a look at this one for Redshift here. So you can see the structure is pretty similar, right? So this is my DBT core, which is the open source version for DBT. The difference is really not there, only that DBT Cloud is managed, but you can see the structure is the same. So you will have your macros, you'll have your models, you'll have your seeds, snapshots, everything including the project, right? So it's going to be very, very similar. All right, so now if you can start exploring this now. So you'll have your version here. This will be your GitHub. So it's connected and everything is you know, like the colors now because we have not pushed this to GitHub. But what we want to do now is to test if our connections to Redshift are working. Basically, we want to make sure that DBT Cloud is writing data to Redshift. So before we do that, let's just check some of these files here. DBT project is an important one here. You can see here the this is your project name, and you can change this. I think this is the profile, which in the DBT core world, if you go in the project here, the profile here will be the name of your profile. So the profiles will be looking like this in DBT core, and the profile name in this case will be this one up here, and you just want to put that one in your Redshift right here. So it looks like let's see how we define this. So this one is default. Let's see if we can go back and see how we set this one up, but I don't think DBT Cloud probably gives too much attention to that. But let's see if it's going to show up here. So I use dev for this, so maybe we can test, we can check, we can update that to dev here, but by default it uses default, but I don't think it matters really, but let's see. Okay, so I'll change it to dev, but default should be fine also. You'll see this project for folders that for models that are living under example, all of the models will be materialized as a table. So basically, if you go to models here, this is a starter model that we've been given here, and this usually comes with the DBT setup. When you first set up, it gives you this example starter. And so what this part is saying is basically everything that is under this folder here should be materialized as a table. So materialization basically means when you run DBT run, DBT is going to create your models in the target database as tables. in this case. Now you can override this in your specific models. So if you go to a model like this, you can put the configuration here and make this as a table. So if we were to update this and make this one a few, right, like this, so when we run the rest of these models, when we run this, if you do not have the configuration specified here, then these models will be created as views in the target destination. So I have updated this anyway. So this is how it looks like. This is the starter model for this one. It's going to be materialized as a table. The second one here, so if you look at this model here, all it's doing is basically doing select one as ID, unioning, selecting null as ID. So basically it's going to create two records in the source, and the name for that will be the name of the model. So my first DBT model, and it will have two records, one with ID 1, and then the other ID will be null. And then the second one will be filtering. So we will only have one record where ID is number 1. Okay, so it might work since I changed here, but what we expect to see if this one works properly is when we run this model now, we expect the second model to be created as a view, and then the first one to be created as a table. But we'll see. I've seen scenarios where this one doesn't properly propagate, but let's see if that's going to work for us in this case. So to test this, what we want to do is basically go to the box at the bottom here, and we'll run this as it is. Basically, this is going to write the data into our Redshift, and it is going to put it under DBT. So let me just quickly show you that in case you are interested, right? So we, again, if you go to your credentials here, we specified that the models should be built in this schema here in our dev database, right? In our dev database. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. All right, so let's go ahead now and run this. So to do that, all you have to do is do dbt run. You can do dbt compile also if you are interested, but the dbt run will do both compilation and running as well. So if there's any syntax issue or error, dbt run should take care of that. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And dbt run here is going to run everything that is under models. If you want to run specific ones, then you can put a select flag and select the name of the model. But in this case, we want to run everything. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So I'll just click dbt run here. And this should go ahead and build our models, compile them, and if there's any issue, then it's going to throw the error here, but it doesn't seem like it. So we can see here it completed running, and we can also see that this one was built as a table under the schema, and this is the name of the model here. Let's see the second one. There we go. So this one worked properly actually. So it picked the second one as a view. So you can see now the view right here, and it's created under the same schema in Redshift. So let's go over to Redshift now and confirm that that is showing up. Okay, so we go here, and if we refresh this, we should be able to see something in our dev database. All right, so you don't see the DBT calcem here, the one we saw, the one we specified, right? But it should be under the dev because this is our database. This is not refreshing. I don't know what's going on. Let's refresh this, and sometimes the editor does this, it hangs a bit, but just refresh it, and there we go. So you can see now that we have our schema, and we didn't create this schema. DBT created this for us, and now we should have the objects here. So you can see now we have a table created here, and that is the first DBT model. If you select and fill this table, we should have two records for this. One is a null and one has a value. And now for the second one, we want to, we specified in the filter for the second DBT model here, we are filtering for where the ID is 1. So that should only also give us one record for that. So if you expand this, and you also, we want to, I think right here we can run this. We can basically say, we can say my second DBT model, right? And let's run this. There we go. So you can see this one now has the value of 1. So up to this point now, we can successfully say that we are able to write, or we can confidently say that we are able to successfully write our transformed tables from DBT Cloud into Redshift, okay? And from this point on, you can now go ahead and do your development, right? So you can use actual data within your data warehouse and then transform them with DBT. And then basically from there, you can pick it up and, explode it, right? So let's go ahead and do something like that, right? So we do have our row table here, right? In staging, we created this sales table at the beginning. So let's go ahead and see if we can use this table and do some transformations in DBT and write it back here, right? So I will go ahead and do that. So I will jump over to ChatGPT here, and we will ask ChatGPT to give us a transformed query for this. So we can say transform this data, let's say for DBT, right? DBT. Sometimes, it will do it and sometimes it will not, but let's see if it can give us kind of a transformed model for this, because we are lazy and we don't want to write anything fancy, but ChatGPT will do the hard work for us. Okay, so what I will do here is I will just copy this, right? I will copy this, we'll modify it in our IDE. So I'll copy this, I will close the rest of these other ones. And what we want to do here, inside models, I will create a folder called sales, right? To hold our sales data. And then inside sales, we will create 2 files. We'll create one for schema, schema.yaml, right? And then also we will create another one. We'll create another one for our transformation. So we'll call this one sales. We'll just call this one sales.sql, right? So this will hold our transformations query. So now under sales.sql, we will just paste that query here and we'll modify this, right? And then in our schema, what I will do in our schema right here is we will do a few things. Let me just, we'll go ahead and delete this one right here. I will delete this starter model because we no longer need it. And now we only have one here, right? So in our schema, I will basically leverage some of the schemas from our DBT core here. I don't know if you have any models here. So so usually your schema, right? Your schema will be will be something like this, because you want to define your schema, and you can have sources or you can just have models. So in our schema here, this will contain our source information. So for this one, I'll just go ahead and modify this file here. I will not put the rest of this here. I will just get up to tables and the model. So I will not put the description. So something like this, you can put this description. It's good for your documentation, but I will just I will not do that. We'll go ahead and delete that. So you can see here in our schema now, we will name the source as Redshift source. Okay, the description gets data from Redshift staging layer. That's fine. Database is staging. That is good, right? So the database that we want to get it from is staging here, and the name of the table that we want to get the data from will be called sales, right? So we will go ahead and name the table here sales. So I will delete this and call this one sales here, right? Like so, sales. And now the models here. So the model, you can also yeah, we want to refer to the model here. The model will be the .sql one. That will be your model. So in this case, the name of the model here, we have named it sales. Okay, you don't have to include the SQL part. And you can see also here, you can actually do configurations of how you want this model to be materialized. So you can do something like this in your configuration. So in this case, we are saying this model should be created as a table, and it should have, you can also put an alias. So the alias will be the actual name that will be created in your destination. So we can put this one here to be created as a sales report, right? So I know in our configuration, we put the destination to be created as to be like the transformations to go under this this schema right here, right? But let me try something else, and if it doesn't, then it will not work. But I want to see if we can change the schema for this. No, I don't think we can change the schema. We can only change the database. I was thinking of changing the database to be under reports, but I don't think that is something that we can do. It only has to be the schema. All right, so we'll ignore that. But basically what I was trying to do is you could do something like this, right? Schema, and then put the schema name. And that's if you don't want to write to the schema that you specified in the profile. But yeah, so we'll ignore that for now. But yeah, so this will be set up. Ignore what I was just trying to do. But so up to this point, what will happen is we have our model here as sales, and what is going to happen is when we run this model, when we execute DBT run, DBT will come to this and basically scan through this. It's going to go to Redshift because we have our connections. It's going to go to a staging database under public schema. It's going to get orders, sales table, and then it's going to do the transformation. So we'll go ahead and we will shift back here in a second, and then inside the models, when we run also, it's going to look at this file, and it's going to create this model as sales, and the name of the sales, right? It's going to create this as a table in the destination and put the name sales report. So that will be the name of the table that we created when we run this. Okay, so that's what happens here. And then now let's go back to our model here, and let's do the changes here. So again, we put the configuration within the YAML file, but some other cases also you can do the configuration here, right? Like config, and put the materialization right here, like as a table, for example, and then do the alias here as well. In this case, we do sales report, right? Sales report, like so. But we will not do this, and you can save this, and you don't have to do it in the, if you do it like that, you can delete this. So just a few ways you can do that. So I'm not going to do it here, so because we already did it in the YAML. If the YAML one doesn't work, we'll come back and do that here. Okay, and then now from here, so the source in this case, we are basically getting the information, right? The sales ID, sales date, and all of that. And the source now will be what we have defined here. So we'll put the name of the source in right here. Okay, so we'll put the name here as source, and the table name, of course, will be sales, right? Good, so that is pretty much it, and I'm going to delete this here. And now the rest of this will basically be the same. So you can see these are just basically an explanation of what's happening with this transformation. And then at the end, we are selecting this. So we'll go ahead and save this. We'll go ahead and save both of this. And now what we need to do is basically run this. Okay, so before we run, let's do dbt compile. You don't need to do this, you can just run it, and then the error will show up. So let's run compile and see if there's any error. Doesn't look like it, so this is good. So it has compiled successfully, and that means that we are able to run this. So let's go ahead now and execute dbt run, right? So we run dbt run, it's going to go and run our models, and build it in the destination. So looks like there's an error here which was not caught by DBT compile. So let's see what might be the issue here. Okay, so there's an SSL mode there, but I don't know if that's the issue. Okay, so there is a syntax error here. There's a semicolon here, and I've seen that a lot with DBT. It doesn't like semicolons. So let's go back to our model, and the semicolon is right here. So just remove that and go ahead and save it. And then we'll go ahead and do DBT run again, right? So we'll do DBT run, and this is going now to run our model, and it's going to build our models properly within Redshift. So you can look at the logs here. There we go. So this one completed now successfully. You can see we have created this as a table. Very good, because we specified the materialization as a table, and it's been created under the schema that we set up, right? So now let's go back to Redshift and see if that one is coming up. Okay, so we'll expand this, and under our dev environment, it always does this, so need to refresh it again, right? Let's go to our dev. There we go. All right, and under our schema, let's see if that table is coming up now. So we have two tables here, and this is the one we just ran right here. Let's see if we can preview the data for this. Okay, there we go. So you can see now that we have our transformed query 2, and it does all of these other transformations that were included within our query, right? So this is very good. Now we are able to run our data within DBT, transform our data within DBT, and it's getting pulled correctly in Redshift. All right, so now you can see the value of DBT, right? We did not have to run any queries within Redshift. All of that we did it within DBT, and DBT did the rest of the work. We didn't have to do any DDLs. DBT did that. And you can see now that we have our table here. So from here now, you can ask your reporting team if this is a report that a reporting team need to use to create dashboards. They can come and connect to this schema here and go ahead and use this data for their analytics, right? Awesome. All right, so that is now the transformation of Redshift data using DBT Cloud. And again, you can use the same thing with DBT Core. You can see the syntax is pretty much similar. The difference is very less, only the DBT Cloud is managed, right? Now, once we do that, the next thing that you will want to do now is to push these changes into your repo, right? So once you are satisfied that your changes are good and you are ready to push this into production, then we can go ahead and commit our changes. But before we do that, let me just go ahead and see if I can grab the DDLs that we used for this demo. So that will be these guys here. I'm just going to copy this and I will bring them over here, and under models here I will create a folder called DDL, and I will push it in the repo so that if you want to copy them, you can go ahead and do that. So I will go ahead and create a file here called sales ddl.sql, like so. And then I will go ahead and paste that the query here, right? So you can go ahead and just copy this and run it. All right, I'll go ahead and save this. And now we are good to go. So from here, I will go ahead and commit these changes into our GitHub. So for that, I will just click here where it says commit and sync. So this is going to prompt us to create a new feature branch, and we will call this one feature. And this is DBT Cloud Redshift. I will just name it like that. And then I will say DBT Cloud connection with Redshift. For this, we'll commit the changes. So this is going to create a new branch within our repo and commit the changes here. So you can see once you do that, now the color changes here. That means that we have committed our changes. let's go back to our repo now, which is this one right here. And you can see the changes are not in the main branch, but we do have another branch here now, which is called DBT Cloud Redshift. So I'm going to now create a pull request. We'll create a pull request. We'll create a pull request from the feature branch into our main branch, right? And so you can see the changes here. So you'll see the rest of the changes, everything that we made, everything that we added and all. And this is looking good for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and create this DBT Cloud connection with Redshift. You can put a title here. You can put description of what changed there, and then just go ahead and create this pull request. Now, if you are working as part of a team, then you can add reviewers here. This will be somebody else other than yourself who will review this code and approve it for you. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. So you can see here, there are not conflicts. There are no conflicts within this repo. So that means that we are good to go ahead and match this. So we'll just go ahead and click match. And this is going to match this to our main branch, right? So just go ahead and click match. And you can see now we have this matched. And if you go to your main branch now, we should be able to see those changes right here. So you can see them here. And if you go to our models, because that's the one we used, you can see we have our DDLs, right? And also within our models, we have our model here, as well as the schema, right? There we go. So you can see this is awesome. So now in future, you will not lose these models. If something was to happen to your database, your models are actually stored in the repo, so you can come back and just pull them and use them for your work. So this is great because now you can now store your SQL queries, and this is something that I'm sure a number of you have seen. If you're working as a database engineer or a data engineer or data analyst, you usually have all of your queries that you run, and they are just basically saved somewhere, either in your local machine or somewhere within your database environment. But if something happens, you will basically lose all of the queries. But with DBT, because we can version control them, then that means that we can store our models. So you can see now this one is within our repo. If you know this query, if you had saved this query, the compiled version of this within your database, and somebody deletes it or you change your machine, then you can still come back here and pull your models from your repo, right? And then that means you will not be able to lose anything. So you can track all of the changes within the repo itself. And this makes now the work of an analyst or a database engineer or a data engineer kind of be like a software engineer, right? So because you can do all of these things within the repos, right? So you can enable CI/CD and all of that, and now you can work as a analytics engineer. All right, very good. So let's go back to our IDE here, and from here now you can see that we have everything looking good. And I think that is pretty much it. All right, so I think that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys in this video. Again, I wanted to show you how to connect DBT Cloud with Redshift data warehouse. And we went through the process of setting up our Redshift. We also set up the security, the firewalls, so that at least DBT Cloud can communicate with Redshift. And then from there, we set up our DBT Cloud, connected this to Redshift. The connection was successful. We also made integrations with GitHub. And then from there, we went ahead and used a table, a real table within Redshift, and transformed it with DBT. And then we could see that after we executed it, the transformed table was written to Redshift with the actual data itself. All right, so that is basically the end-to-end process, and basically what I wanted to show you guys in today's video, how to use, how to connect DBT Cloud with Redshift and transform data within Redshift using DBT, and this is DBT Cloud. All right, guys, that's all I had for you in this video. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, please give it a thumbs up. And also do subscribe to the channel if you are new to this channel, or if you are not subscribed, so that you can stay updated for videos like this. I will be releasing more videos related to DBT Cloud, and also I've been doing a number of videos in data engineering in general. So I have done a few videos on DBT Core and a few other ones on GCP and various other engineering tools that you can use in your day-to-day work. So if that is something that interests you, please do subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and also comment in the comment section what do you think about these videos. And if there's any topic particularly that you would like me to cover, do also let me know in the comment section and I will cover it for you. All right guys, that's all for today. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.